business to business, you are never going to have a prayer of being successful if you are not solving a serious, thorny, frequent, expensive problem, right? Because businesses don't buy stuff to be nice to their former employee who started a company. Maybe they do it once, but they don't depend on it. They buy solutions to problems, and you need to understand if you are solving one of their most vexing, expensive, time-consuming, costly problems to see if there is a market for what it is you're going to go do. In business-to-consumer sales, you can either be solving a problem or filling a need. And a $2,000 Hermes scarf can fill a need either for the lady wearing it or for the guy who gave it to her. I'll let you use your imagination to figure out what the need the guy has. Again, if you aren't focused on that in the first days of thinking about your business, you're building something for a market that may or may not exist. Second, of course, the market. Who is my customer? Defined as tightly and as narrowly as you possibly can. The way I encourage startups to think about this is, who are the 20 people on the planet who will jump off a roof, be so emotionally distraught because your product didn't come to market? Because if you can't get it right with those 20, the road to 20,000 customers basically doesn't exist. Obviously, you're going to sell to more than 20, but you try to narrow, what is the center of the bullseye? How do I narrow the definition of that as best I can so I can start there, sort of build my credibility there, and use those customers as references, as referral resources, things like that, to expand based on the neediest or most innovative person's enthusiasm for my product. Then the third box, what's called in the Osterwalder canvas, customer relationships. And Steve and I spent about a week with Osterwalder when we decided to adopt the canvas instead of a more, like lots of spreadsheets and bullet points and things like that to describe each of these issues. He talked about customer relationships because his book is designed principally for large companies to think about growth. And we sort of compromised it, edited it, adjusted it for use by startups. So in a big company, customer relationships is, which of the customers you now have are most likely to buy from you when you launch this new product? Or how do I keep my customers happy and coming back for more? But in a startup's life, right, customer relationships are entirely different. You have three distinct roles. I've got to get them at a price I can afford to pay. Once I get them, I've got to keep them, right? Loyalty programs, great product, continuous upgrades, lots of interaction with the customers, and lots of, information flow, things like that keep customers loyal. And when you have loyal customers, you use them to grow the business two different ways. First, to buy more from you, and second, and more important, to refer you to other customers, to, we've all, post, or like us on Facebook and get a free whatever, or refer 3 friends and get a discount, things like that. And so thinking from the very first days of the startup about how are we going to get them, who are they, how are we going to keep them, and how are we going to grow from there are critical sort of thought processes.